All right, today we're diving into something a little different in the world of artificial intelligence. It's called eSAMz AI, and it's being framed not just as another tool, but as a strategic artificial mind. So let's figure out what that really means.
This whole idea really kicks off with one big question. What if we shifted our thinking about AI? What if it could be less like a hammer or a calculator, and a lot more like a genuine partner?
So what on earth is a strategic artificial mind? Well, the way it's defined is pretty interesting. It's an AI that's been specifically built for deep, structured thought. We're talking about an architecture designed for strategic clarity, not just predicting the next word in a sentence like most models do.
To really get our heads around this, we need to see how it aims to leapfrog the chatbots and conversational agents we're all used to and move into the territory of being a true cognitive partner.
The main goal here is core purpose is to be a thinking partner. And what's really key is that word supports. It's not about replacing human thinking. It's about boosting it with deep analysis and, get this, emotional awareness. That last part is a huge deal. Okay, so an idea this big has to be built on a solid foundation, right? Let's take a look at the 4 core principles, which really give us the philosophy behind all the tech.
Here they are, the 4 pillars that guide how this whole thing works. Number 1 is heart first. Then we have systems thinking. After that, radical transparency. And finally, adaptive intelligence. We're going to start with that first one because it's probably the most unusual.
And this is it, heart first. The whole idea is that empathy should actually guide the logic. In this system, understanding the emotional context is designed to come before the number crunching and the logical processing. That's a total flip from how most AI is built.
But why bother? Why is that so important? Well, the point of this philosophy is to make the AI a partner you can actually depend on, especially when the stakes are high and you need nuance, you need clarity, you need to trust it. Okay, a great philosophy is one thing, but does it have the horsepower to back it up? Let's pop the hood and look at the technical specs that are actually driving this new kind of intelligence. Let's start with a big one, the context window. That's how much information it can remember at any given time. And the number is 2 million tokens. Just for reference, a token is basically a word or a piece of a word. So what does a 2 million token context window actually let you do? It means you can feed this thing an entire book or a massive, complicated business report all in one go. And it won't forget what was on page 1 by the time it gets to the end. Now let's put these numbers side by side with what's out there. That 2 million token window just dwarfs the industry standard of around 100 to 200,000. The generation speed is almost double what's typical. And look at that last one. Coherence drift is just a tiny fraction of a percent over a million tokens. It stays on track.
And if you're a visual person, this chart just says it all. That huge bar, that's eSAMz AI's context window. That little one next to it, that's what we're used to. The difference is just massive.
It's not just big, it's also fast. We're talking 240 tokens per second. That means talking to it feels quick, fluid, and efficient. And the key thing is, all that speed doesn't make it unstable. It stays coherent.
So we've got the philosophy, and we've got the power. But how does this actually help anyone? Let's move from the abstract stuff to some real, tangible ways this AI gets put to work.
To make all this power easy to use, the creators put out something called the eSAMz AI Cookbook. Think of it like a set of ready-to-go recipes, prompts and instructions that anyone from developers to business owners to creators can use right away. So, for instance, let's talk about decision-making. The cookbook has prompts for deep reasoning. You can use it to take a really complex problem and have the AI break it down step by step. You could even build your own personal decision assistant with it.
What about for content creators? Well, you can instantly rewrite something to have a more professional tone, or make sure your brand voice stays consistent across everything you publish. Or you can just generate a ton of different versions of ad copy to see what works best.
And developers get a lot of love here too. The recipes show you how to build a coding assistant that doesn't just write code, but gives you clear explanations for why it's doing what it's doing, and even offers suggestions to optimize your work.
So, when you pull all of this together, the unique philosophy, the raw power, and these practical uses, it really does start to point toward a new future of partnership, one that could redefine how we work with AI.
And it all comes back to this one central idea. The mission is to elevate human thinking rather than replacing it. The entire system is built around making us better, not making us obsolete. So, does it work? Is this approach actually resonating with people? Well, early data is showing a 96% user satisfaction rate. That's a pretty strong signal that people are finding this idea of a dependable, clear-thinking partner really valuable.
So, at the end of the day, eSAMz AI is really positioning itself as more than just a tool. It's aiming to be a dependable, strategic partner, one built from the ground up for clarity, accuracy, and consistency, especially when things get complicated.
And that really just leaves us with one final thought. If you had an AI that truly was a strategic partner, with this kind of power and this kind of philosophy, what's the very first problem you'd want to solve with it?